Been a long fucking 2 weeks, and here we are back. UFC 323, our last numbered card of the year. We have Marab trying to defend his belt for the fourth time, taking on one of the goats of the game, Piotr Yan. Um, the last numbered card of the year, like I said. Only another one more card for the UFC for the year, and we go into a decent drought. But we're gonna have to look at some of the other promotions and boxing, try to hold us over. Gems don't sleep. But without further ado, me and HotHand are gonna kick this card off. Unk might make an appearance. Mo's not gonna be present today, but we're gonna try to get through this rapid fire. Get out of here fast. We're going to start this off with Mohamed Naimov taking on Myron Santos. Santos coming back down to 145 after his win over Sadiq Youssef. Naimov, nice decision win over Bogdan Grad last time we saw him. You see the odds here, minus 250 for Myron Santos. I'm just going to get right into it. I think it's a little steep, but I foresee him having almost all the wins in the striking exchanges. Naimov's going to have to grapple here. I don't think even though he has what on paper 2-inch height advantage, I don't really see him being able to muscle up Santos for extended periods. I think he might be able to put him against the cage, getting him to the ground and keeping him there. I'm not seeing it as much. Um, we could end up seeing a longer, boring Naimov decision at the worst. If I think that's his only path or something like that. But I overall think Myron Santos is gonna get the better of the striking exchanges. He's been working on his ground game too. I could see, but I just see Naimov, if he doesn't stay on his bicycle and stay on the outside like he did against Grod, I could see him easily getting slept here. Even I could see Myron Santos landing a shot and really hurting him if he can get into his range. If not, I could see Myron Santos winning 2 to 3 rounds. Um, the one round maybe being against the fence and it being a questionable low volume round, and him getting the win. I'm not liking the minus 250, but I think I'd probably rate him as like a minus 180, minus 190. I'd probably play around with like round two to start with him. But I think I'm going to take a shot on his knockout too. I think plus 375 is a bit high for how the probability should be of him finding a strike. I'm going to lean Santos here by knockout, but I wouldn't be surprised with a decision. Uh, I think Naimov's obviously his path's going to be a decision. A double chance on Myron Santos knockout decision is probably the play to go here. How about you, HotHand?
Yeah, I think Santos is the better striker for sure. And I think this fight is gonna take part on the feet. And I don't think Nemaev or Nemoyev, whatever his last name is, I don't think he has what it takes for him to drag Santos down. So I think Santos is gonna be able to just win a kickboxing fight. Now I could see a lotto play. I did like that Cash ARP said was Santos by sub. It was crazy odds on it. And I could see Muhammad shooting if he starts getting tagged up or gassed and Santos is really outstriking him. I could see Santos subbing him. So I don't really want to play anything on this fight straight, but I am playing Santos by sub as a big lotto.
Yep. We'll keep it pushing to the next bout. And we have Antonio Trocoli taking on Mansour Abdul Malik. I'll make this one extremely short. I think it's another layup fight for Malik. I'm not really sold at Trocoli even being UFC level. The most we've seen success from him is a couple minutes against the cage against Bullet, but I don't know. I think Mansour Abdul Malik finds a finish here. There's not really much play, but I think his knockout's like minus 250. I think that's decently high probability. Probably throw that in a two-legger, but that you're paying steep for a method of victory. So this is mostly a pass for me. You're paying super juice unless you're trying to sprinkle round one knockout, round two knockouts. That's the only thing I could see being really profitable here. Anything with you, Hot Hand?
Yeah, Trocoli, whatever. He's absolute garbage. He's gonna get folded real quick by Malik. I think it's gonna be a knockout, but at minus 1,300 and even a minus 300 some KO, like there's nothing to play with. But give me Malik by round one KO.
We got Ewo versus Ebo here. Ewo Baranoski. I butchered that, but he's making his debut here after winning on Dana White Contender Series in dramatic fashion. A emphatic knockout over Muhammad Ali, not the GOAT, but the jiu-jitsu specialist. And you have Ibo Aslan coming off back-to-back L's after being a highly touted prospect with knockout power. Took an L to Ion Cutelaba, who was respectable in the game, and took a decision L in one of the most boring fights I have ever seen in my entire life against Billy Elicana. They just kind of stared at each other. They're laughing at each other in a contested bout, round three. You would think these guys train with each other and shit like that, but this fight's a little different. You got Ebo, um, because they're both looking to bang out and just to throw heavy punches and knock their opponents out. But I think Evo puts himself in harm's way a lot. And Evo, he seems decently well rounded. A lot of these guys you're seeing out of the Polish scene that you would see like one thing, either their striking's bad or their cardio's bad or their grappling's bad. We haven't seen much of his cardio since he hasn't left the first round as a pro. But we've seen his grappling being decent, and his power is there. I'm not sold on him enough to probably put minus 200 on him in a parlay, because Ebo has wins by knockout. He has a tough chin, and he could make it interesting trying to come back off that loss, and he knows he's gonna have to bring the pressure. I do think this fight's gonna end um relatively early. I would probably say late first round, second round. But I lean more towards the second round. I was looking at the like method of victory knockout. That's like minus 200 something. If you're putting it in the same game parlay on DraftKings, you can ult that with like a half round and get it around even money. I like that. You're getting a knockout in a half round. You're just waiting for the last 2.5 minutes. Um, Ewo's probably gonna get the knockout here. I could see him grappling a little bit, but this fight doesn't really intrigue me that much as like a nice straight play, because you can't really play Evo straight. And I think Ebo Aslan has the value on the money line. I think it should be a little bit closer, but like I said, he's I'm not sold on Ebo. I think he's been sloppy, but at the same time, Ebo hasn't really shown much. I think there's some value on it. Maybe round two to start or an over a half round. Considering even though Ebo hasn't gone to the second round as a pro, he has in a couple bouts on the regional scene gone the distance. With this step up in competition, maybe we'll see him with some jitters. We'll get past the half round or round two to start. Do you have anything on this, hot hand?
Yeah, I think Aslan is just bad. That's why Ewell got the minus 200 price tag he got. But I do like Ewell's finishing ability, and I do think he finishes Aslan. I just don't know whether KO or sub, because Ewell, like you said, is well rounded, and I mean, Aslan tends to get subbed and not knocked out. So as Ewell has the power, I could see a submission from him because Aslan does not have good grappling. But uh, the later this fight plays, I could see Ewell gassing, like you mentioned. But I do like Ewell. I just don't like the price. But Mo put that as the fucking his collab leg. But Unk is in here too. So
Oh, Unk's in here.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah, you're
we started a bit late,
yeah.
so um, just give me what do you got for Naimov and Myron Santos,
It's a decision at minus 185.
and then Mansour Abdul Malik and Trocoli.
Skip. I didn't even have a chance to look at them dudes.
Okay, so what about this one?
I think you guys are fucking assholes for riding me since July for picking Ivan Aslan in a double chance decision for the parlay leg. That was 6 months ago. And number that's number one. Number two, if he fights like he should win the fight. Considering this guy's a no-name guy coming from some other league. I looked at his record. Yeah, everything's a first round KO. Well, what happens when you fight somebody that actually knows how to fight and your whole thing's first round KOs? You get fucking slept. So who do I actually think is gonna win the fight? I think Ebon wins the fight.
Wait,
Am
which
I
one?
confident?
Who?
I think Ebon ends Aslan wins the fight because he's the more rounded fighter. After that pity ass performance he had against Billy Alcana, he hopefully went back and looked in the mirror and said, I'm gonna need to come back and fight." Because the guy has a 14-3 record. Yeah, the last two are losses. One's to Kudalaba, who's an absolute killing machine. There's that pitiful, like I said, uh, decision pitter patter sparring match he had in July against Billy O'Connor that you guys have been riding my ass for the last 6 months. So I feel like he's going to come back and redeem this week with a KO. But how confident am I on that? That's like a 60-40. What I am confident is you should follow the gems play because Mike made a perfect play for this, which we're not going to drop on the podcast. But uh, one of these guys is probably going to go to sleep, so you should look for a KO prop maybe. And I don't think there's a high chance of it going to a decision.
All right. Pushing to the next bout, we got Edson Barboza is looking fucking rough in this picture, but we got the
He looks
corpse of
rough when he fight. He looks rough when he fights too.
Edson Barboza taking on a corpse of Jalen Turner, I guess, if he's back in the game. We have Turner back from that quick retirement after getting subbed by Ignacio Bahamondes, taking on Edson Barboza, who just lost a decent to close decision to Drakkar Close. Um, there's not a lot. There's a lot of skepticism I have in this bout, considering there's minus 300 line on Jalen Turner, but I do like the reach advantage for him, the height advantage, the grappling advantage. Edson Barboza, he does look like he's immortal because he's always in phenomenal shape, but he's been getting damaged. He's been slow on his reaction time. You could see Drakkar Close sticking him with some shots that were really had him grasping for shit. And I think Jalen Turner's reach is gonna be able to be a factor in this. I don't really see how Edmonds gonna be able to land big enough strikes to win crucial moments in this one. And any type of clinch work. He is strong in the clinch. You saw that against Close when they got up in the grappling, not the grappling, but the clinch work against the cage. He was winning a lot of the moments, but I don't see him winning any really grappling moments against Jalen Turner. Turner has jiu-jitsu, and I think that Turner could get a finisher with his reach, and I think it'd be later, second or third round. So a second, third round knockout could be sprinkled. But I'm overall gonna go with Turner, but I'm not liking a minus 300 price. I wish it was more like minus 200 flat, but nonetheless, I still think that he gets the W here. How about you, Unc?
Yeah, so the Jalen Turner retirement, I went back and watched it. First of all, Bahamondes is a good grappler, and Jalen Turner's 6'3". So if you can get them tall guys down, I mean, and you're a sub guy, positioning, like it's it's easier to work subs and stuff. So when I went back and watched that, what I got out of that was more like Jalen Turner like not trying as well as compared to like not being up to the ability. Uh, and Barboza, like I've faded him the last two or three fights because, like I said, I mean you can't beat Father Time, and like he just noticeably in the cage like he has a gray silver tint to his hair. He looks old. Like his body is in incredible shape, but uh the only way he would be able to win the fight would be uh technical knockout by leg kick, meaning Jalen Turner wouldn't be able to stand up on his own willpower. And I think after going back and seeing like how that retirement stuff like played out, like this man will be like, I know how to use my length, my range. on the better like at this point on the better striker and fighter because Barboza's on his way out. I mean, Barboza always had like mid clinch work, I'll call it. Like, I mean, I never really thought he was the best with the elbows and the knees off the break. Other people may have other opinions, but his ability was really how to break you down with kicks. Be someone being 6'3" and being in the light. Is this 145 or 55?
55, I think. Yeah, 55.
All right, so being 6'3" and in the 155 division, I mean your legs obviously are a little bit more susceptible for that leg kick. But like Barboza, the last couple fights, like I said, he just is way the sand. The grains of father time has caught up, and the sand has just been taken away. And this is Jalen Turner's fight to lose. So I got Jalen Turner, and the fight doesn't go the distance.
Hot hand.
Yeah, I'm not gonna really go back over what you guys said, but I think Turner is the better fighter here. He's younger and he's coming off retirement, so he should be motivated. I feel I'm willing to lose USD on Turner here. I just can't see how he's gonna lose to Barboza. I think Barboza's hitting that point of his career where he's going to retire shortly. But I think Turner by finish. Turner never went to the judges. So I have him KO or sub. I could see either or in this fight, but I think Turner wins this one.
All right, we'll keep it pushing in this fight, and then we're gonna look at Bruno Ferreira taking on Marvin Vettori. How Vettori has fallen, got to be studied. You look at his resume, and he's fought some real demons. Now they're trying to send him back down, kind of to more of the prospects and guys on the rise. I guess he's gonna be a gatekeeper until he retires. And it's crazy to think about it. That Marvin Vettori is the younger guy in this fight. Like he's only 32 years old. Ferreira's 33. It's just crazy to think that here he is after all this shit. But you look at it, and Vittori's never been finished. Bruno Ferreira is a finisher. Um, there's a lot of question marks for me about trusting Vettori, though. I do think that he's the better boxer. I think that he can hold his own and stuff takedown attempts and stuff to grappling exchanges. But like, how motivated is Marvin Vettori to get back in there? How like, he's been losing a step. It looks like taking a decent amount of damage. He did have that war with Brandon Allen, who it's kind of aged well, considering Brandon Allen beat the fucking piss out of RDR. Um, and then Bruno Ferreira, who's he coming off of wins against? Everyone's talking about him getting submissions or him getting takedowns and mauling these dudes. He's just fought fucking Jackson McVeigh, who lost his who got he was putting a fight against Zachary's, but lost to Zachary's, and then he fought Armand Petrosian, who I don't even think's in the UFC anymore, if I had to guess correctly. And that's a fucking straight up kickboxer Muay Thai style guy. Like that's not someone that's always been good with the grappling. Marvin Vettori has been a good grappler. Um, I just don't. I don't know if I can trust him. I like Marvin Vettori. I don't really know how to go about it. Moneyline play here. I like his plus 3.5 at minus 195. I don't really see him getting finished. I could see Bruno Ferreira sneaking out a decision, which is like low key, like kind of wild odds. I can only see it because I don't trust Marvin Vettori. Like if it goes a distance, he's been losing a lot of shots. I just don't really see him getting finished here. So it's tough because Marvin Vettori finish or decision only money line is like minus 300 something, but then like the over is like minus 160. So like everything's pointing towards Marvin Vettori. Um, I'm just not sure if I can commit on putting USD on him here. There's not really much else that I can really look at and say like, let me take this. Let me see if I what I have written down. Yeah, like I have no idea. Hey, the Tory spread or an over, but that's pretty much it here. I'm kind of stuck. How do you feel about this one hot end?
Yeah, I like Vettori here. I don't think Ferreira's that good of a fighter. I just think he's dangerous, and people are kind of mixing up the conception of it. I think Ferreira is just dangerous and he finishes people, but when you break him down and he gets late in the fights, he gasses, he slows down, and he creates opportunities to get finished. And we've seen it in the Abus fight. And Abus is known for having terrible cardio. And he's fighting Vettori, who has great cardio. He has a great chin, never gets finished, and hangs around the best. You know, if you look at his resume, I think that's going to be the difference here. And Vettori is skilled everywhere, so I don't think Ferreira is going to have an advantage anywhere. So I think Vettori's a good pick here. I think he's going to come off this Allen loss nicely, and I think he's going to get back on the win column. So give me Vettori money line here.
All right. I just found the Amon Ross plan. Unc, take over.
I mean, I'll tell you what should happen. But who the hell knows? So, and I'll repeat it if no one ever heard it before. So, there's an infamous story where I was on Bleacher Reports. Pick. They had a guest pick people that were sending in slips that were hitting, and they had me on there, and they were pushing to the public real hard. Paulo Costa, and he had like 17 pounds to cut in like 24 hours or something, 37 hours. So when I went on the show, I told Bleacher Report to take Marvin Vettori, and they started saying why, and I started telling them why, and they started getting aggravated, and then I started telling them, if you're listening to this, please do not bet Paulo Costa, you will lose money, and they kicked me off the show. So I'm the biggest Marvin Vettori fan of anybody that is around. He should wrestle and clinch Bruno until he's so tired that Vettori gets a TKO, sub. I mean, he should wrestle him, pick him up, grind him. He should do what he does. Another thing, Vettori is infamously known for learning different styles. Like, he's 32. He spent time with the Diaz brothers, Floyd Mayweather's camp, um, some different striking gyms, kickboxing gyms in Europe. He's traveled the globe and learned so many different tools. So, like, what should happen in this fight? Marvin Vettori should come in, and this shouldn't even see the judges. But he's been known to be a judge or a decision merchant in the past. So I'm gonna take Marvin Vettori on the money line, but on the contingency, Bruno Ferreira somehow does get the submission, that would be the only way I could see, or a decision by somehow breaking the clinch, stopping takedowns, and initiating more striking and winning a decision. But everything I said, Marvin Vettori should come out of this money line pick should be, that should be clear cut. But there's your two coin. Like, when you flip the coin, like, what side is it going to be? One's either going to be Marvin Vettori grappling the hell out of him and beating on him and doing all types of different stuff, or the other one's going to be Bruno Ferreira stop and take down, stop clinch work, putting in volume, putting in heavy punches, and Marvin Vettori shelling up in a shell defense.
All right. Well, we'll keep this one pushing, and we go to another contested bout. We got Nazim Sadykhov taking on Fares Ziam. This is another one of those bouts. I think this card's full of them, where there's these fights that there's a lot of possibilities either way, and it's gonna be tough to call them until I really see weigh-ins and see face-offs. But right now with Nazim Sadykhov versus Fares Ziam, we have Fares coming in here with a 6-inch reach advantage. Both of them coming off wins. Fares Ziam coming in off of I believe an underdog win against Mike Johns, and then Nazim Sadykhov was like minus 400 and had one of the fights of the year against Nicholas Mata. So both these guys coming off of nice wins, and it's this one's really hard for me to break down because I'm looking at it. I don't think it goes the distance. I think that either one of them have finishing capabilities, but I just don't know who's gonna employ their style. Resiam's lengthy, and they're both going to be kind of on the outside, but whoever's going to push the pace is going to be the one who I think is going to be the one to win the fight. Resiam didn't look like he does well against pace getting brought to him. He took some clean shots against Mike Johns early in that first round. overall, obviously got the W, but and then Azim Sadykhov, as we saw, Nicholas Mata put a fucking Tekken 70-piece combination on him. He ended up winning that fight too, but they both have weaknesses. Nazim Sadykhov ties with Slava Claus, but then Ziam getting subbed by Terrence McKinney. It's just both of them. There's question marks here. I'm gonna slightly lean Nazim Sadykhov just because I think that he, um, on the ground, he might be the more well versed. He might be able to get takedowns and be the stronger in the clinch. But that 6-inch reach advantage is gonna be super prevalent here, and it might hurt him in the striking. And we might go later on, but I think that this one doesn't see the judges. Those odds are looking pretty decent at like plus 140, but besides that, this is like a live bet kind of fight. I don't think it's going in the first round, so you might be able to get some reads um early. I don't really know who's gonna establish pace though. I can't really find out off just watching tape. I'm gonna have to see face off, see how they're up against each other, how they're gonna look. But that's what I feel for now. How do you feel about this one, Unk?
So in between the two of them in the last 5 years, there's only like 3 finishes. So and they're both kickboxers, and it or point stylists. I'll call them like a Wonder Boy style. Uh, and one is orthodox and one is southpaw, so they're in different stances. So like all of that says a lot of patience, a lot of feeling out, a lot of uncertainty, or someone makes a mistake and gets knocked the fuck out. From watching both of them fight, I'm gonna go with my first read, which is this is gonna be like an Ian Gary, if Wonder Boy type of thing, if they fought or something, like just two outside guys just kind of kicking at each other and then getting in a little bit. I mean, that's really what I see happening in this. So then I went and I looked at the round 2 prop to start, the round 3 prop to start. Like I looked at a lot of things, and like the decision, like the fight to be a decision is minus 185. Um, and then you have your, like fight to like either fighter to win by split or unanimous, at plus odds. But like I can't find like a pick. I don't know who wins the fight. I don't want to pick a fighter to win the fight because I don't know. Like I think it's just going to be like watching two karate guys, two kickboxing guys. And I can't find a bet that equates to anything within playable odds. I mean, like I said, a decision victory for the whole entire thing is minus 185, but like I don't like I do see, like, yes, I do see that like one of them can make it, like I said, because they're in different stances. So one of them can make a slip and get caught. But I just see like I think this is gonna be like a snoozer. I could be completely wrong. I could be dead wrong. But like just with all of everything I just said, it just to me computes to like a lot of reading out as compared to less action. So
All right, hot hand.
Yeah, I think Nazim is a very good striker, but I think Fares is more well-rounded. So I think if Sadykhov gets the kickboxing going, he could run away with it, but I just don't know how Ziam uh, plans to implement clinch work and if he plans on trying to grapple with him at all. But I think if it stays on the feet, Sadykhov is just going to be a little quicker, but also Ziam has the reach. So I don't really know how to or what angle I want to look at this fight off of, but I don't want to bet this fight at all. I just don't know how it's gonna play out. So, but if I had a pick, I would pick Ziam by decision. I think he's gonna more than likely try and clinch a lot, and he'll probably try and use the reach, but we'll see.
All right, we'll keep this one moving, and we go to the only women's fight on the card: Macy Barber versus Karine Silva. You guys, already know how I rock live or pass most of the time with these girls fights. This one specifically, it's really like that because I think they're both dangerous. I think they're both decent. I'm gonna lean Macy Barber, obviously by decision, but I probably won't play this one before the fight. It's just nothing really standing out to me in tape like that's gonna be like, oh wow, this girl's a lock. When I look at it, they're both at reasonable standing here. So I'm not gonna talk too much on it. I think it's live or pass. I'm gonna lean Barber by decision, but take that with a grain of salt. Hot hand, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm not excited for this fight at all. I think Barber is gonna have the edge here, but I'm not gonna bet this fight. I think there's too many good fights on this card to be really focusing on this one.
Unk?
Yeah, I just want to clarify something. In the last thing I said in the two fighters there was only two finishes in the last 5 years. I meant not Sadykhov, the other cat,
Ziam.
Ziam. Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to clarify that before we were moving on. He only has two finishes in the last 5 years. But uh, so Corinne Silva, we saw her fight in August. Looked good. Wanted a turnaround fight quick. Is part of the Fighting Nerds now officially. Took down Barboza, who we know was tough in her own way, and then we got Macy Barber, who actually had to go see a sports psychologist because she had it in her head she was going to be the youngest women's MMA champion ever, and then when that didn't happen, had a complete and total meltdown. Macy Barber's been on a tear. Decisions, KOs. Karine Silva's doing good in her own right. Who wins the fight? Macy Barber wins the fight. And my bet is her money line, a flat 198. That's what I'll go with. I mean, Karine Silva's spread is plus 3.5, minus 175. That's a good spread to take. So take that.
Yeah.
Hello?
Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
I fell asleep thinking about this fight. But we'll keep it
Yeah.
pushing. We got Chris Duncan taking on Terrence McKinney. Duncan's odds have came back to earth, but you have two finishers here clashing. You have a Scouser and Chris Duncan, who just came off of a war with Mateus Rebecki. Then you have Terrence McKinney, who made very short work of Slava Claus, um, in their last bout. Uh, Here you're looking at stuff and the odds for like the unders are all in every Terrence McKinney fight. You're gonna get ridiculous odds for unders. But something stood out to me. I like the over a half round in this minus 225. I feel like that's realistic odds for 2.5 minutes. That's a nice parlay piece to add on stuff, and I might be adding that on a couple parlays. Obviously, that's living by the fucking sword there because McKinney can end it quick and Chris Duncan can end it quick. But I think it's more likely to be filling out and gripping each other up for a little bit. They're both pretty well rounded. And I like Chris Duncan's well roundedness just a slight bit more because I think that he's better on the feet with more power, off a way better chin, and he has the grappling. So Terrence McKinney not that well rounded on the feet, and he's probably just gonna try to shoot a takedown here. I don't know if he's gonna be able to do what he did with Slava and go over there and just shoot and get him down quickly and get him out of there. So I like the over a half round. I like Chris Duncan in this one too. I think he has more ways to win. Obviously, Terrence McKinney can get the sub done, but I could see Chris Duncan getting a knockout, getting a sub, or getting a decision victory here. So, um, probably gonna ride with that over a half round. I like Chris Duncan as well. Now that his money line is reasonable, it came down from like minus 180 earlier this week, so minus 148. I like that Chris Duncan here. By knockout, pretty much is my overall prediction. How do you feel about this one, though, Unc?
So, uh, the over the round prop for minus 225, like I'm looking at it too. I think that's a great prop. The way that you want to bet the fight is to bet the fight to not go the distance, however best you can do that. So I have a note here that will be expanded on more in gems. So if you want to check the Discord out, which will be Mike will be dropping uh the the disclaimer here coming up soon. But Terrence McKinney's jiu-jitsu is not that good. And Chris Duncan 2 fights ago fought Jordan Vucinic, which we were on and riding on. He was the completely tatted up guy that we thought looked like a savage killer. And Chris Duncan subbed him like it was nothing. And Chris Duncan's BJJ is highly underrated. So submission is a good look for this. But your play here is how you get this fight to not go the distance. But Mike's play of a half round minus 225, great play. Who do I think wins the fight? I think Chris Duncan wins the fight overall. And that's what I'll say.
HotHand.
Yeah, I like Chris Duncan in this spot. I just think in this fight, the only spot McKinney is going to be live is early in the fight, but just based off McKinney's track record and seeing how fast he either gets slept or sleeps somebody, I think that kind of just explains that for itself. And Chris Duncan is known to go in the wars, so I think it's either going to be Chris Duncan by round 2 or round 3 finish, or it's going to be Terrence McKinney in the first. But I think the over unders in this fight is kind of chalked. So I think you're really only betting edge here is the money lines, and I like Duncan. So I think Duncan could get it more or get it done more ways than McKinney can, and I rather rely on Duncan's chin and his grit because he's known to be a dog. So give me Duncan money line.
Scousers don't get knocked out on. Let's keep moving on. We got Manuel Torres taking on Grant Dawson here. I think these odds are kind of wide too. Grant Magomedov probably going to come out here and get a decision victory, is what the books are thinking. Manuel Torres has dynamite in his hands, though. We saw what he did to Drew Botox Dover, and the Crimson Chin. And what we think he's gonna do here? Grant Dawson's gonna have to shoot 1 trillion times in this fight to have a chance, in my opinion. And he could. He does have that relentless pace, and he does have extremely good, top heavy wrestling. Um, I do. I don't really see Manuel Torres getting finished here though, like the books are thinking by the odds. Maybe a submission, but Manuel Torres is tough. He has jujitsu of his own, um, especially off his back. Can Dawson's chin, who we've seen cracked, and I know HotHand's going to mention in a few minutes, uh, can it hold up against someone with dynamite like Manuel Torres? I think this fight's a whole lot closer than minus 220 Grant Dawson. Obviously, his path is there. So if you see something in your film read that are like he's not gonna get chinned, be my guest and take him. I can't possibly take him at almost 70% implied against Manuel Torres, who can knock him out. I think this fight's more 50-50, if anything. So, with that being said, when you're getting almost 2-1 on Manuel Torres, I'm probably going to lean him. or I'm gonna lean him on the overall prediction by knockout. I'll take the L. If anything, I don't on the feet. I think it's a decently wide gap. Manuel Torres plus 7.5 on DraftKings is plus 100. So if they do end up going the distance and Grant Dawson wrestles them, I think Manuel Torres can steal one round on one card at plus money. So that's probably the route that I'm liking more. Manuel Torres plus 7.5 plus 100. How do you feel with this one though? Hot hand.
Yeah, I like Torres here. He's probably going to be my underdog of the card, but the value here is crazy, and I think Dawson, his only method to win this fight is fucking crotch sniffing, and I think even with Torres, he has a clear path to victory on the feet, and I think there is a chance he does sub Dawson with that BJJ in his back pocket. But if you look at how patient uh, Torres was in his last fight with Dover compared to his fight with Baja Mendez, you'll see like he came a long way from just one fight, and I think it's going to be another huge gap here with Dawson. And Dawson, we seen get slept by fucking King Green in 30 seconds. So I think that was a fluke, or not a fluke, but I think that's like a reality here. I think Dawson's striking is piss poor. I think his chin is just shit. And I think someone with like Torres, who has the striking and just showed his last fight that his patience is through the roof and he's waiting for that shot to crack you and finish you. So I think Torres by KO at plus 275 here is ideal. Or you could take the money line. So I could see Torres winning a decision somehow, but I do like Torres KO at plus 275.
Uncle, how do you feel?
All right, this one I am giving away. Round 2 to start, minus 145. Listen, this is how you do this. You're playing that, all right? Then for Manuel Torres to win by KO in round 1, it's plus 400. You put a dab on that. And then you go over to Grant Dawson to win by sub in round 1. That's like plus 250. You put a dab on that. But Grant Dawson, okay, HotHand said that he got cracked and knocked out and everything. That happened in 2023. This man hasn't been. No, I went back and looked. I think that's his only knockout, or he has 2 knockouts on his record, and the one is from like 2013, which is over 10 years ago. So, like, okay, I will give it. His striking is not the best, but this is a hardened veteran and has the gas tank of any of the best wrestlers in any of the divisions, minus Marab, and he's gonna keep shooting till the cows come home. So he's either gonna get Torres on the ground and choke him out, or Torres is going to sleep him. But he's not. It's not going to happen in the first round. There's going to be too much. Grant Dawson been around the game too long, seen too many different guys, too many different looks. Bobby Green got one of the weirdest striking styles in MMA, and if anybody disagrees against that, you're crazy, because he reinvented the Philly shell for him and Sean Strickland reinvented the Philly shell for MMA. So he got caught on some weird looking shit, and it's just not going to happen. Grant Dawson's going to wrestle this man to death, and he's going to win by sub or decision. And but the play here is round 2, minus 145. Stake your claim on it.
I would also look at Grant Dawson takedown props when they come out. But we'll keep it pushing then. We got Jan Blachowicz.
Definitely betting.
Jan Blachowicz
Mike,
looking.
are you dropping the thing now?
I put it at the.
Isn't this
I put it before. I accidentally put it in a couple fights. So I just do it.
Oh, so
But
sorry.
Jan Blachowicz taking on Bogdan Guskov, and it's weird looking at Bogdan Guskov coming in here. Um, it's just his career has flown so fast. It looks like I just remember him fighting, and getting taken down by Billy Alacana early. Billy Alacana used all his gas tank because he was on short notice, and then pretty much begged to get finished in the second round. And then Bogdan then was a big dog against Nikita Krylov, who I think's a fucking can, who we took as a dog, and he knocked him the fuck out. Now up here he gets this jump up against Jan Blachowicz, and he's only plus 110 after Jan has a split decision. Or I think he won against Olberg. I don't know. If I think the book has to know something that we don't know to have odds this close, like that the state Jan's in, but I'm gonna have to side with Jan. I don't really see what's Bogdan Guskov besides a random ass flyer knockout gonna do long term in this fight. Taken down by Billy Yalikana and held down for the first round. Jan Blachowicz is gonna slam this dude in his neck. Jan Blachowicz was slamming around Ankalaev and held down Ferreira. I think he beat Poton too. I just I don't know. I don't see a route for Bogdan rather than a puncher's chance. So at good odds at minus 120, give me Jan until the wheels fall off. Onk, how do you feel?
Yeah, we're taking Jan money line because we're very familiar with Bogdan here. Well, I don't know, Mike. I've taken him before with KOs and stuff, and he's cash for me. I'm very familiar with him, but like you said, the odds to be this close with Jan, like what's going on here? So like I mean, we do hours of homework for this. Jan Blachowicz minus 125.
HotHand.
Yeah, I don't know if the odds makers are just seeing, some fucking white bald dude from Uzbekistan that does not look the littlest bit of Asian. Have 18 wins by all by finish. I think, they see that. They see Jan 42 dropping his last few matches, or fights. But I think Bogdan is going to be outmatched here. If you remember, he got subbed by fucking Volkan Oezdemir, who has two subs for 21 wins. He does not sub anybody, and he subs fucking Bogdan Guskov. And then we see Billy Alclina, whatever his name is, comes out and takes the back of fucking Bogdan and hold him in he holds his back and has the body triangle wrapped up the whole round. And you don't think Jan's going to be able to, take him down? I think Jan is an absolute lock here. I think he's probably going to sub Bogdan. And I think it's plus 800 at stupid odds. So Jan by sub at plus 800. I love that as a lotto play, but I think he could knock him out because he does have that Polish power as well. So I have been playing KO or sub, and I have been playing his money line as well. I already signaled his money line at like minus 120, but now I think he's close upward to like minus 135 last I seen. But either way, I think Jan is a guaranteed lock, and I like him by finish.
We'll keep this pushing. We got Peyton Talbot taking on Henry Cejudo. What the fuck is this? But Peyton Talbot minus 258 here against Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo's retirement bout. Um, he had his moments against Song Yadong, but ultimately that was like a technical decision stop. Um, I don't know. I do know. I do lean Peyton Talbot here. I do think Peyton Talbot's gonna either win by decision. I don't really think he's gonna find the strike, but it is possible. These guys have trained together, so that is noteworthy. They have trained together at one point, so they might know at least minimal minimal flow and minimal tendencies between each other. So that's something to note for sure. But Cejudo will have grappling advantage by far. Obviously, it's just a lot to look at because you look at Cejudo, and I think he has I think he has better grappling than Randy Barcelos, and you saw Barcelos having a lot of success against Talbot in that aspect. And Talbot, him in that Lima fight that he just won, that was a very contested bout. Now those odds were flipping back and forth live. He was dog money coming into it. At times he was dog during the fight, flipped back over, and ended up getting that third in the third round. So him coming in here at minus 258, I think, is a bit alarming. Although these retirement fights are not paying off for the retirees recently, so that's something to note as well. I'm gonna lean Peyton Talbot by decision. I don't really think he finds the chin as Henry Cejudo in 3 rounds. Maybe it feels a little bit longer, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Cejudo is on his way out. But I think a Cejudo plus 7.5 spread at minus 2 something could be there. But you might as well just take the plus 3.5. Because you're getting the plus 3.5 at good odds compared to minus 225, and just for him to possibly get finished. So take it wisely there. I think it's gonna go over, but there's worlds where he gets finished. Hot hand, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, so Hudo has the wrestling accomplishments and Olympic gold, and he's done it in wrestling and in UFC, but he hasn't won a UFC fight since 2020. So that's going on 5 years or almost 6 years now. So I think Cejudo is at the end of his UFC run, and I'm not saying Talbot is exceptionally good. I just think that he's a way better striker, and I think he'll be athletic enough to defend the takedowns. Because I think with Barcelos, he had the hands to be able and the boxing threat to be able to set up the wrestling. And I don't think Talbot thought that he was going to get that sort of wrestling approach that he got. As with Cejudo, there's no other way that Cejudo is going to win. So I think uh, Talbot is going to defend the takedowns a lot better. And I think his size is going to be a huge difference maker. And even if he does get him down, I don't foresee him holding him down because Talbot is just way too big for Cejudo to hold him down. And plus, Cejudo doesn't have a sub threat. He has no submission wins. So I think he could be a little reckless to get back up to his feet as well. So give me Talbot here. I think he could KO him at plus 275 odds, but I do like his money line for a parlay piece.
Unk.
I hate Henry Cejudo. Like I fucking hate. I don't like him. I think his persona sucks. He's one of the most durable fighters that's been around in the last 18 years. He got knocked out one time. It was by Mighty Mouse, who was the champion. His championship fight. Got knocked out in a championship fight. That's his only ever time being finished ever. He knows how to survive. Like he's fought every style, every single guy. Talbot's big. He has the reach. He has the size. He has the etc. Absolute money play. Henry Cejudo, plus 7.5 is minus 220. Little bit outside the straight play range. Great parlay piece. And if you feel like he's gonna legit get 30-27 across the entire board and like slot, Peyton Talbot to win by unanimous decisions plus 140. But it's his last fight. Like he's fought everybody. I just don't think Talbot's the guy in the last fight. Like some people have looked like shit in their last fights. This isn't one of them. Like this isn't like, I mean, he hasn't won a fight, but he hasn't been close to even being finished. It's like decisions that lasted over the entire fight. Like it never was like Cejudo's being close. It's close. Like it's never even come to that. So give me Cejudo plus 7.5 minus 220. And if you think Talbot sweeps him, you can take it at plus 140. But I don't see that there's any way that Henry wins the fight. But I also don't see that any way that in his retirement fight, he somehow it goes out unconscious to Peyton Talbott of all the names that he's fought.
Yeah, understandable. We'll keep it pushing though. We got another banger, Manuel. I fucked this up. I put Manuel Torres twice. This is Brandon Moreno. Oh, fire the graphic guy. Oh shit. But anyway, Brandon Moreno taking on Tatsuro Taira. Taira looking for the title shot. Um, and we have a clash of guys that are very close to the belt at all times. Because you're looking at Brandon Moreno, he's had the belt, he's lost the belt, he's won it again. Tatsuro Taira, his only loss coming to Brandon Royval, where he was getting absolutely chewed apart, but ended up being a split decision towards the end. He has insane jiu-jitsu, he has the power. Coming off of an emphatic win, it's just tough for me to pick Tatsuro Taira here because Brandon Moreno has seen good grapplers. Brandon Moreno has seen Davidson Figueroa multiple times. He's seen good strikers. Tatsuro Taira, I don't think is a good striker. Brandon Moreno, I think, is good on the feet and he's way better defensively sound than people that Tatsuro Taira has been fighting. And I didn't even think Tatsuro Taira did good on the feet against Royval. Royval almost had a 10-8 round in one of those rounds. So I think that's going to be a lot of panic shooting from Taira. And I think that his only chance here is a submission if it gets into like super sprawls. But Brandon Moreno's definitely been just strictly drilling straight fucking jiu-jitsu and grappling. Because I think on the feet he's going to win the moments. Maybe he's getting too old. But I think this one's going longer. It's going to the distance. And I'm going to try to look at a spread, but it's probably not beneficial. But yeah, Brandon Moreno is plus 3.5, minus 225. I do like that. I think he definitely wins a round in this one. But 3-round fight. Give me Brandon Moreno to try to get more volume here and just to not get taken down and to win at least 2 rounds, the first 2 rounds on the feet and be more durable. But I could see Tatsuro Taira getting a submission, but that's about it. I can't really see him outstriking Brandon Moreno for 3 rounds. How do you feel?
Brandon Moreno used to be the champion, and at flyweight, Deiveson Figueiredo had one of the best jiu-jitsu games. People feared it. People were deathly afraid to go on the mat with Figgy. They still are. He's not what he was. But the point of the story is, Moreno slapped a rear naked choke on him like it was Christmas wrapped, and choked him the hell out. His jiu-jitsu has always been disgustingly good. And if it's gotten any better than what it's been, which we obviously saw in the Ursig fight, they had plenty of clashes on the mat where, I mean, Moreno was not in trouble of being choked. He controlled everything, and Ursig is a great grappler. I mean, I don't really care what Tatsuya Terra has been doing. If he doesn't knock Brandon Moreno out, he does not win the fight. And so yeah, Brandon Moreno money line, I think it's plus 105. That's what I want. But in all honesty, I think Brandon Moreno gets the sub in this fight.
Whoa.
Let let Taira play, let him play that game, man. But if you go back and watch what Figueiredo used to do to people, and then watch what Moreno did to Figueiredo when they grappled, and then apply it to this. So
A hot hand.
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to get the better end of the other on the mat, it's going to be Taira. I mean, from as long as I can remember, Japan, they always produced the only good wrestlers they ever produced was the low weights, like 125, 133-pound wrestlers. And I mean, Taira's a example of that. I think Taira he doesn't really. I mean, he has the submission threat as well. Like he's very crafty. on the map, but I think he's also very good at just holding control. And I think if it comes down to it, I think him and Moreno's BJJ is going to cancel out 100%, but I think Taira is going to be the better wrestler, and he'll be able to control him on the mat. So now I think Moreno's going to win the standing exchanges 100%. So whoever gets, more time on the mat, where if Moreno could get up quicker than Taira, could hold him down and get strikes off or even submission attempts. It all depends. But I think Taira will be able to get the better end of him here. But a better play I like is the fight to see the judges at like minus 285, I think it was, as a parlay piece. But money line, it's very close. I'm like 60-40 Taira though.
All right, we'll keep this one pushing. What the fuck? How is this one still in? I was fucking up with the graphics, but before we go to the co-main event, we'll look at, per usual, the link's gonna be in the bio for the Fade Factory, free cord, then our direct snipes, our cheat sheets and everything will be in MMA gyms. That's $10 a month, 25 for 3. And we have Fade Plus as well. We're doing great. We have our kicker model. We have the first half model, college hoops. We have a bunch of stuff going on in there. Every sport going on every day. So hit the link in the description if you haven't already. And get right or get left. Here we go to the co-main event. We have Alexandre Pantoja taking on Joshua Van. So, um, it sucks here. I'm a huge Joshua Van fan and have been for a long time. And it sucks here that he's getting pushed this fast. Take on Pantoja. Like, you're getting rushed up here at super young, just barely getting past Brandon Royval by a skin of your teeth a couple months ago, taking damage in that fight. And now you gotta take Alexander Pantoja. For the last time we saw him, he fucking absolutely disintegrated Kai Kara France, and it was the second round for the submission. Um, It was super easy for him. He made it look like he was otherworldly out there. And now we have Joshua Van coming here. I think Joshua Van could have success on the feet, but how long could he keep it on the feet is the question. You go back to the Cody Durden fight. He was getting held down, put down there. He has great hips, I will say that, and he does train with some decent guys over there, jiu-jitsu wise. But I think Pantoja. I think it's a little too early for Josh Van. I think he needs another 2-3 fights to be able to get to this level. Give me Alexandre Pantoja via submission. I wouldn't be surprised if it went the distance. Um, Unk.
Pantoja, uh, um, Josh Van grew on us here at the Fade Factory, but he's a little bit outgunned in this one. Doesn't have what am I looking for? The man is very violent and definitely is always live for a KO, but like you're talking strategical battle here. I'll take Pantoja. Been battle tested. We've seen him go 5 rounds. We've seen him go less. Jiu-jitsu, nasty. Good at striking. Good at wrestling. Great hips. I just think he's better than Josh Van all around. So Pantoja, money line is the pick for me. Uh, I, I'm I don't have a within the distance pick right now, but like if I could take Pantoja like within the distance of the fight, I would probably take that pick.
Hot hand.
Especially since it's 5 rounds.
Yeah, Pantoja's, I think, is a lock in this fight. Vaughn has good takedown defense, but I think once Pantoja is successful on the takedowns, I think Vaughn is just gonna look lost on the ground. I think Vaughn will sub him or ground and pound knockout. I think Pantoja just too much of a dog, and then I think we're gonna see Vaughn lose, and then Manel Cape beat Royval, and then we see Cape versus Vaughn. But I think I think Pantoja is just too good on the ground, and he's going to exploit that. I took Pantoja in some lays already, KO and sub, and I think Pantoja's money line is playable as well. Oh, I also do like the under as well. Or fight not to go to distance. It was like minus 155, I believe I got it at. So I like those three.
All right, we'll go to the main event. Petr Yan taking on Merab Dvalishvili, the second time these two have fought, and the fourth time that Merab's attempting to defend his title this year alone. So, last fight, I think Merab had like fucking 40 takedown attempts or something like that. Spamming them. Petr Yan was getting put down, and it was a very, very unanimous decision. I don't think much changes here. I think Yan could have some moments on the feet, but overall, I just think the relentless pressure of Merab, he just keeps getting better and better and stronger, and his cardio just keeps getting, it just keeps getting better, but not even just better. It's just already at peak. I don't think that Jan's gonna be able to, unless he knocks him out somehow. I don't think he wins a decision against Merab here. Sandhagen had some moments against stuffing some of the takedowns because Merab gets deep high crotch and then he just tries to like swing that leg out, and he was doing like the what's that shit when a hot hand a butt scoot, I don't know, when he reaches around he touches like the inner hamstring to stop the so he can get around the back. I forget what the fuck that's called, but either way,
Yeah, I'm not picturing what.
yeah. But stuff in the takedowns, that's the only way that Sandhagen was using it against Merab, and I don't think Merab's or Jan's gonna be able to do that here. I think it's gonna be infinite Merab takedowns to a decision. Um, that's about it. Like, Merab decision is where I'm looking at. It's gonna be juice to shreds. Merab spread minus 5.5 maybe, but I might even take Merab over 7.5 takedowns. I swear to God, I might. But besides that, it's not much else to take. How do you feel about this one, hot hand?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty given. Marab's going to win again. I think his cardio, his takedown, it's just different. I mean, Petr Yan was arguing that his hand was blown up going into the fight, or he blew his hand up in the fight and couldn't throw rights. But I still think Marab gets the better of him. I think at like the best case scenario for Petr Yan, it's kind of like the Umar fight, where we see Umar win 1 and 2, and then Marab's cardio just is the difference. But yeah, like you were saying, I do like that over 7.5 line though. I swear I was gonna take his takedowns up to 10 and do a ladder with it, but you can only do over 7.5 on DK. I'm looking at, but yeah, if you look at, he shot like 50 their last fight. I think over 7.5 is free, and especially if Petr Yan's hand was broken, the first one. So imagine now if Petr Yan gets the boxing going even more, and it's putting pressure on Merab to shoot. So give me over 7.5 takedowns. Even his last fight, I remember thinking before the fight, like the line
It's five and a
was
half.
like 7 or 8. Oh, 5. Yeah, 5, and we were like, oh my god, like nah, let's not take it. I think he had fucking 5 by like the third round or second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, so give me over 7.5. I'm taking that for sure. And I do like Merab minus 5.5 again, but I do think Merab wins the decision.
And Unk.
Rob money line, even though it's like minus 400. So just throw it in with something that voids or something. I don't know what else to say. Like everybody said everything that needs to be
Yeah.
said. He's gonna shoot 100 times and he's gonna slam him on his head. Like, I looked at the sub slash decision in case he gets the sub. That's minus 400 the double chance. So
On
like, I
DraftKings
don't
too.
know. So just play the money line and we know how he wins the fight. Oh wait, I guess I'm supposed to be the contingency guy. Uh Petr Yan wins by KO in the third round because Merab can't take him down enough times. All right. I set a contingency.
Yep. So we'll just go on before we move on to the collab. Our featured pick this week. Last time it was Max. He came out with Waldo and he got it correct, so he gets another crack at it here. And he's going against some of us here. He's taking Bogdan Guskov moneyline at his featured pick at plus money. So that's where he's going for the featured pick. You can either ride with him or ride with us. It's either way. It's a close odds fight. But before we go there,
Yeah, fuck you, Max. And he's listening live. Fuck you, Max.
Annie, he's listening right now. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Fuck Max,
Max,
man.
I'm gonna go in the thing. If you already explained why he wins, I want to go back and read that because why?
All
We
right.
love you, but why?
Alright, but we'll go to the fucking
Fuck you.
collab. This is the collab play of the week at plus 420. We got Jan, Pantoja, Marab, and Evo. So looking to get our third back-to-back win. Looking to get our third back-to-back win on the collabs, and I think we have a good shot of doing it here at plus 400. We've hit over plus 400 and plus 300 our last couple times out. So let's try to keep this streak going. And as usual, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you at the cash counter.
Thanks for subscribing.